October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and each year, over 6,000 women in North Carolina alone will be diagnosed with breast cancer. WFMY News 2's Sydney Moore spoke with a Triad woman who is reminding others, you really do need to listen to your body.
Good afternoon, Ebenezer. Tina speaking. How may I help you?
At Ebenezer Church of Christ in Burlington, this is where 58-year-old Tina Williams finds peace.
Ebenezer is a safe haven for me. When I moved here and I had to find me a church to go to, and I listened to several ones, but then when I heard Pastor Covington teach, I came here.
She volunteers her time as a receptionist and cooks for kids.
And I also drove the van for the kids, yeah.
But in November of 2023, her life took a turn. Pain started in her right breast.
And I went to the breast center and we did the mammogram.
The mammogram confirmed stage 1 breast cancer.
I did not have honestly a reaction because I already knew it from within.
After 2 more mammograms, she learned the cancer was in her left breast.
You know, I pushed it off for 2 months before even calling a doctor, but I knew something was wrong.
Williams says she has no family history, but listening to her body and faith in God made all the difference.
And when I asked him for his strength, he gives it to me. I don't stay down too long. It's very rarely.
Dr. Timothy Finnegan, an oncologist at Alamance Regional Medical Center, recommends that women start getting yearly mammograms at age 40.
Seeing breast cancers at an earlier stage because of early detection significantly helps how we treat this because it's much easier to treat at an earlier stage.
After the diagnosis, Williams went through a couple of surgeries.
The surgeries and going through radiation probably was it kind of like made me tired.
Today she feels better and lives cancer-free. Her message is simple: listen to your body, listen to your doctors, and trust in God.
We want to talk about the importance of mammograms and early detection. Lauren Evans, mammographer with Cone Health Imaging at MedCenter Mebane, is with us. All right, so let's just talk about the baseline thing. Let's just talk about how mammograms help folks figure out what's going on and why that is so important.
So mammograms help find breast cancer before it can cause any symptoms. So it's very important to remember early detection is what's going to save lives and give you more treatment options. So it's very important.
All right, so let's talk about this because a lot of people talk about screening mammograms and other people say they're diagnostic mammograms. Which one are people referring to when we hear, hey, go get your mammogram?
So that would be just your screening or your annual mammogram. That's your yearly mammogram. Now, the diagnostic is when there's an issue with your breast. If you felt something, maybe your doctor felt something, that would be when you would need to get a diagnostic mammogram.
Okay, so screening is what we do every single year like normal, but if you feel something in between you're going to get a diagnostic mammogram. Okay, what are the recommended ages to start getting a screening mammogram? Because, I mean, you're hearing stories about younger and younger women getting breast cancer.
Yes, so we follow the recommendations by the American College of Radiology, and their recommendation is at age 40. But if you were to have any problems, say before age 40, it's definitely a good idea to have that checked out by your doctor to just be sure.
All right, and then what about like if you do have a family history, you've got a mom or you've got an aunt or you've got a grandmother that had breast cancer, does that change when you should start getting your mammogram?
Yes, if you have a strong family history of breast cancer or other reasons to think you may be at high risk, it's always good to talk with your primary care doctor about this, and that way they could possibly do a cancer risk assessment. And ideally, you would have that before the age of 25. And if your calculated risk of that is over 20%, then you should start screening mammograms early.
And this is one of those things where you really do need to be talking to your family about that. So many family members like to keep things quiet.
Yes, it is very important to share that information with your family so they're aware if they need to be going earlier to get checked out.
And let's talk about this. What kind of changes in your breast should women be looking for that they need to really go talk to their doctor about?
If you were to notice anything like skin or nipple discoloration, any kind of itching or dimpling in your breast, nipple inversion, any kind of lump, pain, or any kind of discharge, you would definitely want to get that looked at by your doctor to see if you needed further testing done.
And that's not a, hey, let me see if it'll go away. This is, if you've seen it for like a week, you need to know that you need to go see the doctor.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So in addition to getting the yearly screening mammogram, which we talked about at age 40, and contacting your provider about any changes, what kind of steps can all women do to help reduce their risk of breast cancer?
So the best things that we can do would be to maintain a healthy weight. You would want to exercise, no tobacco use, and limit alcohol use.
All right, and so that's just kind of like the basic healthy diet kind of thing, healthy living kind of thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about this because sometimes we hear this often. Sometimes women have to get a second mammogram because they're told, oh, you have dense breast tissue. What does that mean and how does it change a risk in breast cancer?
So breasts are made of fat and fibroglandular breast tissue. The fibroglandular breast tissue is where you would see the dense tissue. So it can increase your risk of having breast cancer. And around, I would say 50% of US women have dense breasts.
All right, and so when you hear those words together, dense breast tissue, I think people think, oh, those are people with larger breasts, or those are people that are older, or those are whatever. What does it have to do with?
So that is just your makeup, your body's makeup. That is not necessarily something that, and it's not something that you're going to see unless you have your mammogram done. So it's very important to have your mammogram done for that reason.
Okay, and so with dense breast tissues, sometimes the mammogram, you have to do like a 3D mammogram or something like that to be able to see that dense breast tissue.
That's correct, Tanya. So we do the 3D mammogram. We do that as a screening, but also as a diagnostic. And that is definitely the best option that we have for dense breast tissue.
All right, and that is kind of like it's a non-negotiable. If you have dense breast tissue, every time you go to get your mammogram, you really need to get that because that's really the only way it's going to be seen.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. A common misconception about breast cancer that you want to set the record straight on.
So most breast cancers that are diagnosed in women who don't have symptoms. So a lot of people feel like if they don't notice any problems, then they don't need to worry about having a mammogram. But it is quite the opposite of that. You definitely need to have a mammogram because we could catch it at its earliest stage. And there are more treatment options the earlier that it is caught.
And this is one of those cancers where early detection really is key.
Yes, you want to catch it as early as possible so you have better treatment options.
And just to think that 6,000 women in North Carolina are going to be diagnosed this year. Let's just talk about some final thoughts about mammograms, breast cancer, what you want people to walk away with today.
So my biggest thing is just making sure that everyone is scheduling their mammogram. It's very important to get that scheduled. Just go ahead and get it on the books, and that way it's already there. It takes just a few minutes to come in and get it done. Usually maybe somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, so it doesn't take much time out of your day. So go ahead and get that on the schedule. And also you can learn more about it at conehealth.com/mammograms.
And a few quick things, no deodorant that day, no lotion that day, right?
That's correct. And also try to remember to wear a 2-piece outfit so you can just remove your top, put on our gown, and it's just easier that way.
And it really only takes, I would say, like maybe 10 minutes.
That's correct, Tanya.
Right.
It's really quick.
Yep, so go get that screening. Thank you so much for your time and expertise. If you miss any of this, this is going to be in the 2-year well-being section of our website.